some of the top Chinese players playing, but at the same time you just can't ignore or deny the fact that this year, look at that for a shot, my goodness me, that is absolutely superb. Just look at her, she looks the real deal, she's got that sort of baby doll look about her, but she is vicious, I tell you. Came chasing in, but she didn't give it up. Good backhand lift, clear. She knows how to play this game, that's for sure. Look at that. It's on the line. Superb. 12-13-6 now.
That was a great shot. She came up high, looked like she was going to clear with deception and just kind of cut the shuttle for a drop shot.
That was the final shot was brilliant, but what about the one in the middle of the rally then, where she cleared with her backhand when she was absolutely dead and buried? That was a great save. Kept the rally alive. It's all going the way of Chinese Taipei and the youngster Tai Zhou-Ying. I have to remind you, if you've just joined us, we're in the final of the Li-Ning Singapore Open Super Series. It's the first match, it's the women's singles, and we have an extraordinary event, a qualifier, 16-year-old Tai Zhou-Ying in the lead against firm and confirmed favourite Saina Nehwal of India. 13 points away, 8-13. And I tell you, it's an absolutely fascinating matchup. It's gone, it's 14 points to 8. Saina came back from 21-8 against Liu Lan, the world champion, and turned the tables completely, winning the third game by 21-8. So quite an extraordinary semi-final. And you know, one interesting visual there is the way that Saina Nehwal reacted to that mistake, that error. She obviously played a great net game here. Touch there was super, but then the flick, well, she was trying to clear it. No good, but it was Saina's reaction afterwards. That was in, I think. It was 15-9. She's obviously under pressure at the moment, Saina. Do you know what I find fascinating? That's out, and I'm absolutely impressed that she is playing a lot of that stuff behind what you'd normally expect. In terms, she's able to get the shuttle back with the shuttle behind her, which is extraordinary reflexes.
Yeah, she does have a very strong backhand to get out of trouble.
Look at that. It's okay, it wasn't in, but by golly. 11-15. Amazing. Saina fighting back at 11-15.
And that's what Saina does so well, the deep smashes.
Taking a little bit of an extra breather here. Maybe it was a pretense, who knows? But just sucking it in, just giving her opponent something to think about now as she comes back with a lot of momentum here. Saina Nehwal, great net shot, that'll finish. Absolutely superb, 12-15. It's all about setting up the opportunity to finish it. The rally was beautifully won at the net there. Good stuff. We like this. We love it. Oh, yes. Great fight back here by Saina Nehwal. She comes back to 12-13, is that? 13-15, I think.
Yes.
Well, that really is building up momentum here. And I tell you what the difference is, although you say the power play and the base, but her net play has been fantastic the last 4 points. Misses the big one. And there's no doubt at all, the crowd here in the Singapore Indoor Stadium have got a sympathy with the 16-year-old qualifier, Tai Zhou-Ying. Predominantly Chinese population here, of course, in Singapore. And they love to see new talent coming through. But Saina Nehwal, she's been there under the cosh so much, so often. You don't count her out yet. Into the corner there. It's actually, if there is one difference between the male and the female game apart from the power, it's the fact that the females generally don't like to play backhands from that corner.
Exactly. Usually it's the weakest part of all the women's games, so they do like to try to do the round ahead of, if you can remember Mio Odina, she lost her head almost going, it would disappear and she would take it way around the head. You get more power, more options that way.
Wanmu Chu is another one that I always think she doesn't like playing it into that from that corner. And there, of course, Saina's taking advantage of that. And she probably is then exposed a little vulnerable point. And there's another. It's back to level at 16. What a great fight back this is. Superb stuff. That's showing experience. The other thing, remember, of course, here, Charmaine, is that they've never played each other before. And it doesn't matter how much you observe, until you actually get on court, you just don't know how to play the opponent. Very difficult.
Yeah, especially at the beginning of the game, you're just trying to feel for the court as well as your opponent. So not knowing how she plays, she's getting into the rally and she needs to keep fighting and fighting and fighting.
Well, the great thing is that for badminton and for the crowd here, they're getting a really competitive final. Above all, that's what we need. We need to get it tight. Really interesting. That's out. It's 17 all. And I really thought that Saina would be motoring at this stage and have maybe a 6, 7, 8 point advantage. It's tied up at 17s. That just shows that Tai Tu Ying has got an extraordinary future. Quick hands as well. It's the backhand that's going to cause the problems, I can tell you.
18-17.
She snatched at that. 18-17 for the first time in the match. Saina Nehwal, apart from the first point, Saina Nehwal is in the lead. She doesn't normally miss those. It shows that she's a little bit tight as well, you know.
18-all.
That was a real big miss, a dramatic miss at 18 all now. Again, she goes into that backhand corner, and that's why it is absolutely the Achilles heel of Tai Tu Ying. She's found it and she's exploiting it. It's 19-18 and she'll continue to pummel that corner, I'm sure. Change of service, a little bit of variety, and it does her the world of good. Saina Nehwal's 20-year experience as opposed to the 16-year-old Tai Tu Ying has paid dividends here. 2 game points to Saina Nehwal. And that is it. What a really, really impressive and enjoyable first game that was. For the casual observer, you'd have thought the first 10 points, Tai Tu Ying was the senior player. It was fantastic. She then tightened up a little bit when Saina Nehwal put a little bit of pressure on areas where she wasn't comfortable. And then, of course, she came through right at the end. And that 21-18 scoreline shows Saina Nehwal has got a huge potential.
Absolutely. You saw her kind of settle down a little